أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وإمامنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم رب زدني علما نافعا وعملا صالحا. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما نافعا وعملا صالحا. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس اشفي أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس اشفي أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس اشفي أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك شفاء لا يغادر سقما. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Okay, inshallah, I know a lot of you have questions, so inshallah I'll give enough time at the end to ask as many questions as possible. But inshallah, I just want to go through for like 30 to 40 minutes. Just want to go through a few essential matters regarding treatment in Ramadan. We know the famous hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, إذا جاء رمضان فتحت أبواب الجنة وأغلقت أبواب جهنم وصفدت الشياطين. We know this famous hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. What the hadith means that when Ramadan comes forth, the gates of Jannah are opened and the gates of Jahannam are closed and the shayateen are tied. Sufidat in one narration, another narration sulsilat, which means the word sulsila embeds the meaning of chains, embeds the meaning of iron chains. Another narration, Sallallahu said, إذا كان أول ليلة من شهر رمضان سفدت الشياطين ومردت الجن. The first night of Ramadan, as soon as the night of Ramadan comes in, the month of Ramadan comes in, the shayateen are tied up. And in that narration, sufidat ash-shayateen, and then something was added, وَمَرَدَتُ الْجِنِّ. What does this hadith mean in terms of not the general meaning, but the specific meaning when it comes to those who are inflicted or affected with sihr and mas and ayn from the shayateen? What does it mean? So I'm not going to speak about the general matters of what does it mean upon general mass. I'm going to speak about the specifics of what happens to those who are inflicted with either black magic or either mas, which is jinn possession without sihr and without evil eye, or jinn possession with ayn, with evil eye. So I'm going to speak about these three matters inshallah ta'ala. Firstly, this tying is unseen by us. That's the first thing we need to realize. This tying or this chaining of the shayateen is something is beyond our senses, which we understand it, but we cannot grasp it, we cannot see it. But it takes place. Now, does it take place upon every single shaitan or not? According to a lot of scholars, irrespective of whether they are tied or not or chained or not, all the shayateen, those who are shayateen, they become weak in Ramadan. So that again, irrespective of whether they are tied or not specifically, whether they are chained or not specifically, all the shayateen, none are left. Every single one of the shayateen are weak in Ramadan. That's agreed upon. There is no difference of opinion on that matter. All the shayateen are weak in Ramadan. What's also agreed upon is that some of the shayateen are tied up and chained up. That's also agreed upon. So firstly, they become weak, that's every single shaitan. Secondly, some of the shayateen are tied up and chained up. And this last one is important, and that is the ones who inflict the most harm, they chained up. The ones that inflict the most harm other than Iblis are chained up. That's agreed upon by everyone. So that again, the ones that are harmful at a very severe level, they are called marada. They are chained up, tied up. That is agreed upon by everyone. Yeah? Is that clear so far? So what does that mean in reality if you are inflicted, or if a person in your family is inflicted with sihr shayateen or ayn shayateen or mas shayateen? What does that mean? Firstly, it means the sihr will be weak because the shayateen will be weak. Secondly, it could mean that your particular shaitan, the main one, because your the one who is inflicted, they may have many shaitan. All the shayateen have become weak, and the main shaitan is either chained up He's either tied up or is either chained up. That is your main shaitan. So every sihr, every ayn, eventually it goes down to the main shaitan. So the main shaitan that's controlling the sihr that's been inflicted on you, or the ayn that's been inflicted on you, or the mas that's been inflicted on you, the main shaitan that's in controlling, he or she is chained up. So that is what we understand specifically for those who have been inflicted with sihr, ayn and mas. Sisters, can you hear me? Yeah, is that clear? I'm a small guy with a small voice, yeah? So you have to bear with me. Okay? Now, because they are weak and because they are tied up and chained up, you have a greater level of control of your heart, of your mind, and of your limb. You have a greater control of your heart and your emotions, your mind and your senses, and your limbs and its movements. Yeah, you have a greater control. So before Ramadan, your emotions could have been all over the place. Your senses could have been all over the place. Your process of thought, concluding, judging, right? All of that could have been all over the place. But in Ramadan, that reality of yours, which is all over the place, you have more control therein. You have more share of authority and execution of that control therein. Yeah? So this is the first thing you need to know. And as I keep saying in my talks on these issues, or in my advice to people on this issue, is that the first step of treatment is you acknowledging you've got something wrong. That's not you, there's something wrong with you. Secondly is you taking control of the matter. You taking control of the matter. You psychologically, mentally, spiritually, you yourself say, no, enough is enough. I am going to deal with this matter and I'm going to battle this war. Yeah, and I'm going to win. Yeah, you have to subconsciously, eventually consciously be ready for it and be prepared and take it forth. Yeah, so Ramadan is a great opportunity for you to take that step if you have not taken yet. Yeah, because they are weak and they're definitely tied and chained up. So you have to take that step of I am going to battle this and I am going to win. Yeah, I always say that more than 70% of the cure lies in the mentality you have towards this illness. I say that again. The cure, more than 70% of the cure lies the mentality you have towards this illness. Yeah, if you feel hopeless, if you feel defeated, if you feel that you cannot win, then you will be defeated, you cannot win, and they will drown you. They will drown you in your misery, they will drown you in your pain. But if you take that stance that no, I am a human being, number one, I am greater than them as a human being, irrespective if I'm a Muslim or not. Secondly, I am greater and loftier than them because I'm a Muslim, right? Third, I'm greater and higher than, loftier than them, and honorable, more honorable than them because I want khair, I want good, I'm adhering to Islam, I want to pray, I want to fast, I want to worship Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want to bond with Allah Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the reasons and the causes by which then you can be prepared for the battle mentally, and then eventually spiritually, and eventually even emotionally, and eventually even in your construct of thoughts. Yeah, so Allah Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for you that environment already in Ramadan for you to battle this reality, for you to battle and win. Yeah, so they're weak, they are also chained up, and you're going to be fasting in Ramadan, so they'll be eating less food, and when they eat less food they are more weak. They will also drink less water. For them, more than water, for them it is food, especially greasy food. I'll come to that. Avoid greasy food. The shayateen love greasy food. Avoid PFCs and whatnot. They love greasy food. So they will be weak during the day and then they will be weak also during the night, because in the night the angel descend in numbers. The angel descend in numbers. So during the day they will be weak because of your fasting, the lack of food in your body, they'll be weak. And in the night they'll be weak. Even if you have food, they'll be weak because of the angels descending more than usual in the month of Ramadan. So my first advice to you all is, after you've acknowledged that, you know what, I have a spiritual problem, I have a problem. After you acknowledge that, the second step is prepare yourself mentally that you're going to battle this war and you're going to win. You're going to win. Because firstly you're a human being, and a human being as an essence is better and lofty and greater than the jinns and shayateen. And then secondly, you're a Muslim, and thirdly, you're a practicing, adhering Muslim. You're not a Muslim who commits major sins consistently, intentionally and knowingly. Yeah. Allah He says in one of the verses of Fussilat, verse 44, He says, قُلْ هُوَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى وَشِفَاء. Sisters, you can come in this space. قُلْ هُوَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى وَشِفَاء. Say to those who have believed in this Quran to be revealed from above the Arsh to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the cave Hira, say to those who have believed in that Quran, لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى, it is a motivation, an inspiration, a direction, an instruction, a guidance, a nur, yeah, to everything, to anything, to everybody. Huda. And then Jalla wa'ala says wa shifa. Now, just like it is huda to you as an individual, to you as a family, to you as a society, as a nation, as a generation, as an ummah, as a human being, as humanity at large, just as it is a guidance to everything and everyone, similarly this Quran of ours, this revelation of ours, and it's always been, every revelation of Jalla wa'ala has been always this, and the second was shifa. It's cure. It is cure to every illness when means and remedies and treatments and therapies fail. Say that again. It is cure to every illness when means and treatments and therapy and every other thing, every medicine, every expert has failed, then the Quran becomes the ultimate cure. Ultimate cure. Why? Because Allah Jalla wa'ala subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Shafi. But because we are a human being, physical entity, we like things tangible. We like things tangible. We like things, we want to witness things. Yeah? And for that reason, Allah Jalla wa'ala subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a human prophet with a physical, tangible Quran. Yeah, that we can see, we can write, we can recite, we can memorize, and so forth and so on. So in that Quran, Jalla wa'ala has left inspiration, has left motivation, has left cleansing, has left softening of the hearts, has left belief, has left understandings and perceptions, has left purposes and goals, have left missions, has left institution building, has left cause and effect, but also He has left, just by sheer recitation, He has left a cure therein. He has left a cure therein. Yeah? Now, we all know this. We all know this fact. But how do we cure ourselves in Ramadan, in particular through the Quran? Yeah, I'll give you practical steps, a daily routine. Please note them down. So, you will be waking up for suhoor. Yeah? You'll be praying Taraweeh. You may be praying Tahajjud. Yeah? The first thing I want you to do is have shower, recited shower, cold shower if you can, it's more effective. recite Qul Sha'a before you have your suhoor. Yeah. Then apply your recited oil, your itr on top of the oil, recited obviously, and then before you eat anything, drink the honey, recite the honey, mix with recited water, drink it with the intention of cure. From obviously, you may know what you have already. So if you know you've got sihr, then the burning of sihr and the cure from sihr. If you have evil eye, burning of the evil eye and cure from evil eye. If you have mas or shayateen, then you make that intention. If you don't know what it is, you can intend all of that and the cure as well, and apply the treatments. Yeah. So you have ghusl. Then you apply the oil, and on top of the oil you apply the recited itr. Recited itr you can apply all over your body if you want to, or you can apply only in the places that you feel the jinn moves most, or there's pins there, or there's knots there. You apply in those areas. If you don't know any where to apply, just you can apply all over your body, as long as you don't have a reaction on your skin. Yeah. Then I want you to pray at least minimum 2 rak'ah. 2 rak'ah. It can be tarawih, it can be tahajjud, no problem. But I want you to specifically pray 2 rak'ah for the sake of shifa. And in that, recite whatever surahs you know, combine it. So if you know only 10 surahs, recite all 10 surahs. If you know more than that, recite more than that. But combine it. So recite like, say, Alam tara li ila fi Quraysh, alayhi alladhi, and so forth. Recite as many you can the first rak'ah, and the second rak'ah recite the last few other surahs that left. Or you can recite all the surahs you know in the first rak'ah, and the second rak'ah you can do the same thing, you can recite all the surahs that you know. Yeah? Is that clear? Prolong the ruku' and prolong the sujood. In the ruku', obviously you glorify Allah Jalla wa Ala, you do tasbih of Him, do as much as you can with the intention of shifa. Call Him. In the ruku', in the sujood, make dua and call Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala with the intention of shifa and with the intention of burning the sihr and burning the evil eye and the shayateen. After you do that, do this and then blow in your hands and wipe all over your body. When you do the adhkar of the morning, do the adhkar. While you're doing the adhkar, take your right hand and then start wiping your body with the intention of curing yourself and killing the shayateen. Just keep wiping. After you do that, go and eat your suhoor, pray Fajr Salah, go to sleep, and then when you wake up, I want you to do this. Especially those who have no work, they're staying home. When you wake up, have another shower. Do the same routine. This time pray Duha Salah. Duha Salah, you can pray 2 rak'ah up to 8 rak'ah. 2 rak'ah up to 8 rak'ah you can pray. So you can pray 2 rak'ah same as before. Pray. Do the same thing again. Then after you finish the salah, recite Quran. Now, the reciting of the Quran, if you don't have time, then you can make the intention of reciting the Quran to do khatam in Ramadan, and at the same time to do Ruqya. At the same time to do Ruqya. Yeah? So, recite the Quran with the intention of normal khatam in the Quran in Ramadan and Ruqya. But if you have time, then in the first hour or so, recite khatam of the Quran. So your simple normal recitation as a ibadah of recitation during Ramadan or during the day. Yeah? The second hour, I want you to start khatam of Ruqya. Is that clear? So if you have time, you've got 2 hours. First hour you're doing normal khatam, so you start from Surah Fatiha, Baqarah, you're reciting, you recite for example 10 pages. That's khatam of ibadah, worship. You're worshipping Allah Jalla wa Ala through recitation. Yeah. The second time around, you go back to Surah Fatiha and you start, but this time you're reciting for the sake of burning the sihr and destroying the sihr and burning the shayateen and evil eye. So you recite the second time around with the intention of curing yourself from whatever you may have. Is that clear? If you don't have time, you combine the intention. So you make the intention of ibadah and you make the intention of cure. Whatever you do, you start slowly, don't rush it. If you can't finish the Quran at the end of Ramadan, don't worry about it. But recite it slowly, because the shayateen, the Muslim shayateen, they can recite. The Muslim shayateen, they can recite, but they cannot recite reflective recitation. I said that one more time. They cannot recite reflective recitation. That hurts them, that burns them. Because when you start reflecting, you add your emotions, you add your mind, you embed your heart and your mind there. Yeah, you start bonding with Allah Jalla wa Ala. A Muslim jinn who is oppressing cannot do that. So because they cannot do that, they get affected. They start hurting, they start burning. Is that clear? A lot of time, for example, the patients, they say, even the Muslim jinn, they will say, recite, recite, it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't burn me. Yeah, because you're reciting what? Fast. Soon as, for example, the raqi, soon as, for example, a Muslim jinn says that, if I then start reciting slowly, like Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, and I start reflecting, the patient starts reflecting, it has the same effect as if a kafir jinn was inside the person, same effect. Yeah. So whatever you do, recite slowly, even if you cannot finish the Quran, the khatam. Do it slowly, don't rush, no rushing. Sometimes also they will miss. The kafir, for example, can also recite because he hears you reciting a lot. The kafir shaitan, because he hears you a lot, he or she can also recite, but they will miss letters. So for example, they will say, for example, if you've been with a patient who's got jinns, they say Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. They won't say Assalamu, they won't say the lam, they won't say the alif in the beginning. Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. They'll miss the lam and they'll miss the alif. Yeah. So that's a kafir jinn. That's a kafir jinn deceiving you. Yeah. So they will either recite fast or they will recite but they will miss the letters. So like for example, they will say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Alhamdulillah, they will miss the ha. Yeah. So whatever you do, when you recite slowly and make sure you're pronouncing every single letter. The Quran is nothing but the Quran, which is revelation. Difference between Arabic language and Quran is that the Quran, the revelation, is all about sounds. So that again, Quran, the revelation, is all about sounds. How does that sound? If that sounds like Quran, then it's Quran. If that does not sound like Quran, then it's not Quran. Is that clear? Because Alhamdulillah, for example, it's an Arabic word. It's an Arabic word. Some people can pronounce it Alhamdulillah without the alif. Some can Alhamdulillah with the same word. Yeah. So it's the sound. The revelation is about sounds and it's not about letters. It's about sounds and it's not about letters. So make sure you pronounce every single letter in order to pronounce the sound correctly, and then you will see the effect. It will impact the kafir jinn straight away, because now you're reciting the Quran and you're not just reading Arabic language. So that again, now you're reciting the Quran and not simply reading the Arabic language. Yeah, and it's the Quran that impacts the sihr and the shayateen and the evil eye, and it's the Quran that cures you, not the Arabic language. It's the revelation that cures you, not the Arabic language the Arabs speak. Is that clear, everyone? So recite slowly and recite clearly. Yeah. So do that for an hour or two. After you do that, I want you to do this. I want you to prostrate, prostration of seeking help from Allah. Simple prostration. So you just prostrate and you seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that prostration, I want you to close your eyes and imagine the source of the sihr, or source of the evil eye, or the source of the shayateen. Where did it come from? So you want to make dua to Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you want to recite this verse. Write this verse down. If you can take notes, everyone. فَلَمَّا جَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ فَلَمَّا جَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ. Yeah. If you type it in Google, you'll find in different surahs this same verse. Surah A'raf, Surah Yunus, Surah Taha. Yeah. What it means is when the magicians came forth. When the magicians came forth. So you prostrate and you keep reciting this verse. Your intention is to see the source. The source is either the original sihr or the main sihr. So you keep intending to see that source. If you don't know that verse, then just recite وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Just keep repeating the quls. Just keep reciting the quls and keep repeating this verse with the intention of seeing the source. Sooner or later you will see the source. You will see the grave, or you will see trees, or you will see a pond, or you will see a house, or you will see a lady, or you will see a man, or you will see a figure. You will see something. So as you see there's some physical thing, burn it to ashes, white ashes, keep blowing, keep reciting, keep blowing. If you get tired, get up, go back to prostration again, and keep making dua to Jalla wa ala, keep doing sujood to Jalla wa ala, glorify him, exalt him, and beg him to see the source of it, and keep reciting and keep blowing. Don't be scared. Don't be frightened. Yeah. If you see something physical that's not burning, get up, keep your eyes closed, grab it with your both hands and break it while you recite, and then burn it. Completely burn it to white ashes, and then after it becomes white ashes, check if there's anything beneath the white ash. Usually there's a ta'weez beneath the white, there's a sihr beneath the white ash. Is that clear, everyone? No? Okay, I'll say it again. You prostrate. Prostration of seeking help from Allah. Yeah? You keep your eyes closed and you recite falaq an-nas and the quls basically. And recite all the dhikr and adhkar that you know, which is to helping, asking help from Allah Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you keep blowing. You can blow towards the left, or you can blow straight, or if you're prostrating, blow straight, no problem. Intending to find the source. Where is the source? The source will be, if it's sihr, if they have done sihr, they will do many sihr, but one will be the source. One will be the main source. The main source is either the first sihr that was done on you, or the sahir, the magician, he does one main sihr and the rest he does small sihr. Yeah? So you keep reciting and you keep blowing, intending to find the main sihr. You blow like this, as if you're blowing fire. Yeah? Eventually you will see fire coming out from your mouth, and you will see the source. It may take an hour, it may take 2 hours. If you can't see nothing, it's completely black, like completely black, then you have to pierce that black veil. That black veil, you know, the surface sihr is covering yourself. So you pierce that veil. After you pierce it, it become like, it will burn away, and then you will start seeing the source of sihr. Okay? If it's shayateen, if it's mess, and you want to see the shaitan, you want to see, then you can recite various verses. The greatest one is Ayatul Kursi. Ayatul Kursi. Recite Ayatul Kursi, keep reciting, and then keep blowing. If you see bad dreams or nightmares and the shaitan comes, he comes as a figure, he comes as a cat, he comes as a lion, or he comes as a friend of yours or as a mahram of yours. It comes in the dreams quite often. Then see those dreams again in your mind, play them in your mind and blow towards it, intending to burn them. The more you say Ayatul Kursi intending to find the main shaitan, be it with the evil eye, be it with the sihr, be it is a mess, the more you say Ayatul Kursi, eventually you will see the shaitan. Again, don't be scared. It will be a dark figure, it will be an ugly looking figure. It will come and try to scare you. It might come and possess you. Try to fight it. Fight it back. Keep blowing. The strength is in the recitation and the blowing. You blow from your mouth, because that becomes fire. And I will say something else. There's something more stronger than fire. If it becomes overpowering, overwhelming, that is possessing you, then intend the recitation to become nur of Allah Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jalla wa Ala says, قَدْ جَاءَكُمْ بُرْهَانٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ نُورًا مُبِينًا. Jalla wa Ala says, we have sent down upon you burhan. Burhan is like every other false proof, false evidence, it can burn them away. That's burhan. And then Jalla wa Ala says nur. This Quran is nur. So it's not simply, this Quran isn't simply a physical matter which has no power spiritually in terms of fighting or burning things. La, it is nur. It can burn anything in front of it. It can physically burn anything in front of it. Yeah? So if you're being overpowered by the shaitan, then intend the nur of Allah Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the verses to become the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they are nur. Intend it and then blow towards it. Again, intend to burn it completely. And if it's physical and it's not burning, so for example, if you see a figure, it's got a head, it's got arms, and it's looking either it's dwarf or it's huge, and it's not, you're blowing and it's not burning, grab it with your two hands, don't be scared. Or if you see a snake, big snake, or you see a big dog and it's not burning, grab it with your two hands, don't be scared. As soon as you grab it, more than half of its strength goes away. I say that again. As soon as you grab it with your two hands by saying Bismillah, or by saying Allahu Akbar, or by reciting, more than half of his strength goes away. Sallallahu, he grabbed the shaitan by the neck. He grabbed it. Yeah, and then he couldn't breathe. The shaitan couldn't breathe. Now that Sallallahu was seeing what? Ghaib. He was seeing ghaib because as a prophet, we can see the ghaib if it's inflicted on you. If you're inflicted, then you can see the ghaib by reciting the Quran. So you grab it, just as Sallallahu grabbed it, and then he was strangling it. He was about to kill it. Right? And then Sallallahu he let it go, because he was Sallallahu is rahmatul alamin. He let it go. So similarly, as soon as you grab it, half of his strength is lost. More than half of his strength is lost. All you have to do then, like Sallallahu, he strangled, all you have to do is break his neck, break his arms, break his legs. If he has tail, break his tail. Most of his powers, if he has horns, his powers will be in the horns, in his eyes, and in his tail. If he has nothing like that, then focus on his eyes and his tongue and his private areas. I said that one more time. If he has no horns and no tail, focus on his eyes and his tongue and his private areas. Yeah? Burn them. Once you burn them, he'll be more than half dead, and then he just keep blowing until you burn him or it to white ashes, or until he disappears, or until he evaporates, depending on what kind of jinn it is, what kind of shayateen it is. Is that clear, everyone, now? Then you take a break, have a rest, do whatever you want, start cooking, all of that you can do, anything that you can go out, no problem. Dhuhr, after Dhuhr, you can take a rest, you can sleep, have a rest, no problem. After Asr, right, same thing, take a rest, no problem. Just before iftar time, I want you to start reciting again. If you want to recite before that, because you're busy with work or whatever timetable, no, we can change the timetable around. But I want you to recite at least from within 24 hours. I want you to recite 3 times. 3 times. Yeah. So once, when did I say? After duha salah, recitation. Second time, just before maghrib, just before iftar, an hour and a half before iftar, because that's when they start to what? Come and attack you. After Asr, they start to come and play with you. So this is where you have to become strong and fight them. So you recite again, same recitation, you continue with the recitation. So if you recite 10 pages of Baqarah, you continue. Recite slowly, recite clearly. Yeah? Then you break your iftar, do your iftar, you go to Taraweeh, all of that. If you don't go to Taraweeh, recite one more time. Before you pray your Qiyamul Layl, before you pray your Taraweeh, recite one more time. Recite at least for half an hour to 45 minutes. If you go to Taraweeh, then intend the recitation of Taraweeh to cure you. Intend as ibadah, and intend it to cure you also. Don't worry if you scream and stuff like that. I'm sure people will help you out. Yeah? That's the 3 recitations. And then just before you go to sleep, ghusl. Again. So 3 ghusl, 3 recitations. Now if you can afford ajwa dates, you must have 7 or more ajwa dates for suhoor and iftar. So that again, you must have ajwa dates for suhoor and iftar. If you feel sick, then what do you do? If you feel every time you have ajwa dates you feel sick, then what do you do? Because then you might ruin your fast. So then I will say is not to have ajwa dates if you feel sick. Yeah, leave ajwa dates alone and have you can have ajwa dates normally, but you don't have to intend cure. Yeah, but leave it, just have honey and water, that will suffice you with the intention of cure, inshallah ta'ala. So is that treatment clear for Ramadan? Everyone clear? Yeah. And every other treatment, obviously, playing the Quran 24 hours in their house, spraying their house 5 times a day before you go to sleep, any mood swing, straight away get up, put the volume up of the Quran, spray their house, straight away have a shower. Yeah, all of that. Is that clear? So that's the treatment you must do in Ramadan. After Ramadan, if you do this treatment, you will feel much lighter, if not cured. Yeah. One other one I'll give you, obviously once a week you'll have a bath, or if you have a bath more than once a week, then this is the other treatment I'm going to give you. In your bath, put herbs in. So from herbs, you know, there's so many different stuff you can put in. For example, you can put in cedar, you can put in other herbs that you know, ginger is, I prefer ginger. Ginger is quite strong. Cut gingers up, it'll smell very gingerly. But put ginger in, yeah. Garlic, this all affects the shayateen. Ginger, garlic, what's dalchini in English? Yeah, this stuff, yeah. All of this stuff, put them in. So you're making a tea for yourself by seeing in there instead of the tea bag. Yeah, just put all of them in and then soak yourself inside. Sea salt also is important. And then put your whole body in there for an hour or so. Whilst you're in there, recite. Start reciting slowly, intending to burn the sihr. And if you can close your eyes and blow at the same time and burn everything, If you do that, this is very close to hijama. It's that powerful. It's very close to hijama. Yeah, I said that again. So in your bathtub, obviously you have colder the water the better, but if you can't take cold water, no problem, warm water is fine. Yeah, you put ginger in, garlic in, other herbs in, cedar leaves, cinnamons and all the other stuff, just put them in, and you don't have to put too much in where you are completely soaked in them. Yeah, but enough, a handful of stuff, and then so you can smell the fragrance, you can feel its impact. And ginger has a great impact. The shayateen hate ginger. Garlic also, they hate it, they can't stand it. So soak yourself in them and then recite and blow. When you get up from that bath, you will feel as if a lot of sihr have been broken, a lot of evil have been broken. Yeah, obviously you'll be fasting, so I won't say to dip your head inside the bathtub, but what I will say is get a mug or get a jug and then pour all of that with the items, pour all of that in the mug with the water, recite, blow in the water, obviously when you recite, blow in the water and then pour over yourself. Don't worry about the water draining in the bathroom. There's some opinions that some students of knowledge of some raqis say the water shouldn't go in the bathroom. Don't worry about it, because the maqsood of the Quran is in the body, and Allah places the Quran what you intend in. He doesn't place the Quran where it is not intended. Yeah, and Jalla wa'ala elevates the Quran as soon as it's intended in the wrong place. He elevates it because it is His Quran. He will not allow it to be degraded. Yeah, so you intend on your body, you're not intending it anywhere else, and thereby the Quran will only go onto your body. As soon as the water touches your body, the Quran is elevated. It does its job, it's elevated. Yeah, it doesn't go down the drain. It's not sticking on the water all the way until Qiyamah Day. Yeah, it's okay, is that clear, everyone? So whenever you have a bath, I want you to do this. Okay, Zamzam water. If you have Zamzam, if you know someone's going to Umrah or Hajj, ask them to get Zamzam for you. In Zamzam water, especially this is to those who are pregnant and they have sihr and so forth, or those who feel sick if they have honey and ajwa. For you, do not have honey, do not have ajwa. If you feel sick, have Zamzam for suhoor and have Zamzam for iftar. First thing you have is Zamzam before you have anything else, with the intention of cure and burning of the sihr and the shayateen. This is only if you are feeling sick due to honey or due to ajwa, or you're pregnant, you're expecting. Yeah, I'll take the questions in a bit. I'm nearly finished. Lastly, I advise you all to go to counseling and therapy. Listen to my advice. Okay, I'm not advising you because I'm a raqi or because I'm a shaykh. Honestly, I'm advising you as a brother in Islam. Yeah, a lot of brothers and sisters, they suffer because of the upbringing. Because of the upbringing, not because of the actual sihr or actual evil eye or the actual mess. They suffer because of the upbringing, the way they were brought up. So they saw the father being violent, or they saw the mother being oppressed, or the other way around, their mother was very emotionally controlling, and the father was just a figurehead. He didn't have no say in the family, or there was emotional, psychological abuse, or you did not get what you want as a child. You didn't have enough fun, enough play, or there was too much psychological pressure in your studies, or there was abuse in the house. All of this has a knock-on effect in your psyche. And the shayateen and the sihr and the evil eye play on that a lot. Yeah. So during Ramadan, please go to counseling sessions. Obviously, I do counseling. I'm not saying come to me, but I'm saying go to therapists. Yeah, go and talk to them. Yeah, all of you went through something very similar. All of you, And that when shayateen come, they know the depth secret of your heart and the emotions. Yeah, be it the control from your mother, be it the abuse from your father, be it the control of your elder siblings, whatever. You went through something. They know that, and then they play with that with your spouses, with your husband, with your wife. Yeah? With your husband or with your wife. So I urge you to go and seek counseling, seek therapy. Especially it happens in our community. Some sisters are sexually abused. It happens. And that's why they can't be intimate with their husband, or they find it very difficult to be intimate and show affection towards the husband. Yeah? You need therapy, sisters. Simply Ruqya and reciting the Quran. Yes, it will cure you to a lot, 70, 80, 90%. But you need someone to go to and talk through this. Talk through this. Cry it out. Get the emotions out. When you keep talking about it and you see through what happened and you make sense of it and you keep talking and you get the emotions out until you've got nothing left in your heart, in your mind, then you'll not feel envy, or you'll have that guards up towards your husband, yeah, or towards your mahram brothers, yeah, or uncles. It depends who abused you, obviously, then that eventually will have a knock-on effect on who you have guards up against. But the one who suffers the most is the husband. So I strongly advise you, brothers and sisters, to seek counseling and therapy with anyone who you trust and you're comfortable with, and they are competent in counseling and talking to you and making you stable emotionally and then eventually mentally. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Yes, questions. I'll take questions.
You mentioned when we're in the bath, we can recite. Can you recite in the bathroom?
You can recite in the bathroom. If you have a toilet in there, just close the lid of the toilet, then you can recite in the bath. No problem. Any other questions? I was hoping you're going to be bombarding with questions, so I'm ready. I came prepared. Mutlib, can I have some water, please?
The ayat you said to recite, what was it?
فَلَمَّا جَاءَ السَّحَرَةُ. Let me just give you the verse number.
Inshallah, just one.
Okay, Surah Yunus, verse 80. Surah Yunus, verse 80.
Are there any examples of possession from the time of the Prophet?
Don't ask me a question that you can find out easily. You can find out easily from books or articles. You can find that. Ask me questions that you are in need of. Yeah, so I can benefit you. Otherwise, you will not find me every time you have to book an appointment to come and see me. Here, alhamdulillah, I'm here, in front of you. Ask me questions that you really need for your betterment, for your cure. You don't ask me questions that based on information or knowledge that you can easily go and Google it and find in books or in articles. Ask me questions that you really need to benefit.
Mentioning Zamzam water, does it make a difference if you dilute it with more water? Just to
Zamzam water, keep it Zamzam.
Okay.
Yeah, Zamzam water, keep it Zamzam. Do not dilute it, do not add in a mixture of other water.
On the point of counselling, I think in our community we focus a lot on the Ruqya, but nothing on the counselling side of it. And then it's easy to kind of go to someone who's non-Muslim. They can't really
Relate to you.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So in terms of like Muslims in our community, are there any services or any people you'd advise?
There are people out there, I'm sure you know, they've done some seminars and so forth. I don't want to advertise one over the other. So I'm sure you can do your research and then go and so forth. Yeah, so you can do your research and go, inshallah. Muslims counseling is better, unless you went through extreme violence. You went through extreme violence when you were a little kid, or other sexual abuse. Then those two, I would say, go to an expert male if you're male, or expert female if you're female. Yeah, Those two you have to go to an expert, even non-Muslim. Yeah, I've dealt with a few cases like that, and it's left them scarred, and they keep doing Ruqya, and the family keeps doing Ruqya, but they keep brushing under the carpet, and the one who abused is a family member, close, like mahram. So obviously that is so hard for the sister to talk about it, because someone who's mahram. She disclosed it to me, and when I heard it, obviously I heard a lot of stories, a lot of incidents, so I'm sort of used to it now. By now I don't want to hear it, but sadly you have to deal with it. So eventually, obviously, we said to her what to do, how to treat herself, and so forth and so on. But she still hasn't gone to see a therapist, a female therapist, because she's afraid of exposing her mahram. Yeah. So it has to be done. It has to be done. And I even say, you don't have to expose them. You don't have to say who did it. Just say, I went through this, and talk about it. You can number the person, number A, or person A or person B, or number 1 or person 1, person 2, stuff like that. So yes, it needs to be done. And as I said, if it's violence, if it's extreme violence, you have to seek therapy. And similarly, if you have anger management, you've got anger issues, extreme anger issues. Yeah, I know one person that as soon as he speaks, he gets angry, he starts punching the table, he starts poking people. He doesn't care who he is, who's in front of him. He gets blinded. That's anger issue. Yeah, so if you have extreme anger issues, you must go to therapy. You must seek therapy and get rid of the anger.
What's the difference? Sorry, Shaykh.
Yeah. Alayhi salam, sister.
Someone has extreme anger. What's the difference with that? Sorry. Isn't that a jinn possessing them, making them angry? That's a
No, a jinn can only do so much. It has to come from you initially. So your emotions has to be there for the jinn to work on the emotions. Your thought has to be there in order for the jinn to work on the thought. Is that clear? You have to have something. It can't come from nowhere. So if you have anger issue at the level of this much, right? The shayateen will take it up to that much. But if you have anger level of this much, shayateen will take it up to this much. It will not take it up to that much. Do you see? So you have to manage your anger, and there are many ways of managing anger. Alhamdulillah, Sharia taught us ways, and maybe obviously I'm going to do many series of lectures on these issues. So inshallah, maybe one will talk about how to manage anger in the comprehensive way. We'll talk about it inshallah. So keeping wudu constantly, 24 hours, manages anger. Constantly keep wudu, constantly.
Any strong emotion a person has, it could be you go through trauma, death,
Yeah.
divorce, something happens, child dies, and you go through extreme sadness.
Yeah.
They use that.
They use that.
Anger or sadness
Yeah.
or upset.
Yeah.
They multiply it.
Yeah. That's what they do.
So how do you know it then? Because you could be going through a death, a trauma,
Yeah.
childhood, etc. You've also got
The way you know it's not you or is you is by reciting the Quran slowly. That's how you know it is you and not the jinns. You recite Quran slowly, sit down and recite Quran slowly with the intention of cure. Then that's you.
What if you
Now the questions are flying. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah. Excellent.
With gyms, are they like specific to like specific type of people? Could it manifest and spread onto other people, like family members?
La. I don't know if you read my text. It might be on our website soon, inshallah. I said you're more likely to get a cold from a sneeze, yeah, than what someone who's possessed their jinn to come in you. Yeah, you're more likely to catch a cold than that to happen. Yeah, so it's rare. It can happen, but it's rare. Yeah, but from 20 years of experience of Ruqya of myself, I've dealt with obviously severe cases. I've dealt with the whole family fagol sagol. Yeah. One running this way, one running that way, one trying to attack me, fagol sagol. But that contamination rarely happened. I rarely witnessed in my entire life. Yeah. Yes, sir.
when someone does ruqya, sometimes they can feel pain, but the says, obviously the stomach is one, but can they feel pain in other organs like the liver, the gallbladder?
Yeah, you can feel if the sihr is tied in that limb, then intended in that limb, you can feel it. Yeah.
And has anyone ever has that been fatal? Because if it's tied with
Everything's in the hands of Allah Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone's inflicted. The sihr is done to completely kill you. The sihr is not done for you to still walk up on the surface of the earth, get married, have children, and have fun. Do you see? So for you to walk, and alhamdulillah, for you to be okay and for you to be fine, yes, you're struggling, yes, you're fighting, yes, it's hard, yes, it's challenging, but alhamdulillah, you're still alive, you're still walking, you're still smiling, right? Yeah, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, don't worry about it. It's rare again, it's very rare. So keep fighting, keep challenging, and keep winning the battles. Eventually you'll win the war, inshallah ta'ala. Yes, sister. Alaykum assalam. If the sihr was done at a very extreme, severe level, yeah, and there was many jinns involved, like say hundreds of jinns involved, and they send the shayateen and the jinns all over to that individual, then yes, it can affect, especially if they send a family. So for example, the sahir, the magician, he sends a whole family to this family. So the husband and wife will have husband and wife jinns, children will have children jinns. Yeah, so this is done. These are in extreme cases. These are in extreme, severe cases. The sahir do that, but as long as the whole family does ruqya, it tends to break quickly because it's on everyone and everyone's doing the ruqya. It tends to break quickly. Yeah, in terms of proportion, which one cures quicker, the individual sihr or the family sihr? As long as the family do together the ruqya, that is quickly cured than the one who's affected individually. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, don't worry if your family is affected. Don't worry about it. Get everyone to do the ruqya and you'll be fine, inshallah. Yes.
For Ajwa and Zamzam, would you suggest reciting with them too?
No. For Ajwa, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that khalas is curing of itself, no recitation is needed. For Zamzam, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said also no recitation needed. There's two sisters at the back. Bismillah. I'm coming back to you. Bismillah, sisters. Yeah. Go for it. We've got time, right? We've got time. Bismillah, sister.
The first question is, how do you approach someone who isn't accepting of that they, afflicted with sihr?
That is something hard because it's part of the sihr. It's part of the shaitan's game, is to deny it, to reject it. Yeah. And obviously some scholars don't help rejecting it, and again inshallah we'll be doing this series giving the evidences, all of that, and the historians, what scholars have said in the past, history, all of that. We'll do this series one after the other, inshallah ta'ala. But this is one of the trick of the shaitan. The other trick, I don't know if you heard the famous hadith that Sallallahu said the 70,000 will go into paradise without hisab. Yeah, shaitan used that. They use that, and they love to use that. As soon as you go into ruqya, they're like, Shaykh, don't you know the hadith that says لا يسترقون ولا تطيرون ولا يكتئون وعلى ربهم يتوكلون? Don't you know the hadith? And you come and do ruqya on me. I didn't speak ruqya, and so they use the hadith. Obviously this hadith is completely misunderstood in the first place by the mass of the Muslims, and some tullab al-ilm also misunderstand, and they keep saying this hadith again and again, that they don't seek ruqya because you'll not attain the 70,000. You will be amongst the 70,000. What the hadith means is at the highest level. So at the highest level, if you're someone who's in the siddiqiyya level, which most of us know, admit it, we're amongst the sinners. That's number one. And number two, you do not miss your obligations. Most of the people who are afflicted, they miss their obligations. either obligation in terms of deen, I like salla, siyam, or in terms of your responsibilities, are you looking after your husband or your wife, and so forth and so on. So if you are unable to fulfill any of the obligations, then it's ijma' that you have to take the cure. So that again, yeah, note it down. If you are unable to fulfill any obligation which is upon you, then you have to take the means to cure yourself, because you're taking the rights of someone else but not fulfilling the obligation, either the right of Allah or either the right of a human being. So then taking medicine or taking remedy, taking the means becomes obligatory. You have to take. Yeah? Yeah. So she's got, I think, 2 other questions.
The second question is, when you feel like...
Did I answer the first question? The first question, what do you do? As part of the trick, so what do? You gather the families, and if he's your husband, you gather him. If he's your brother, you gather the family. If he's your husband, gather his family. Gather everyone, put pressure on him and take him. You have to enforce it. You have to force ruqya and therapy on people, because a mental person doesn't say I'm mental. Do they? They don't. They do not. Similarly, a person who's got ruqya, she doesn't say I need ruqya. After they go through it, they see the reactions, then they obviously accept it, because when it's so long in them, it becomes second nature. So they can't distinguish, okay, who I am and who I am not. How do I feel and how do I not feel? How do I think and how do I not think? Yeah, it's very difficult because it becomes second nature to them. So once they are able to distinguish it, then they are able to, especially when they go through ruqya, then it reacts, or they react, the sihr triggers or the shayateen come forth, then obviously they know, okay, that was not myself. Yeah, so you have to enforce it, you have to force it. So if it's medical therapy they're rejecting, you have to call the ambulance. Obviously you have evidence of videoing, writing, all of that, have evidence, and then when the ambulance come, show them the evidences that look, this is what she is saying, or this is what she is doing, or this is what he is doing. Show them the evidence, and then they will take him to the mental hospital and take it from there. Yeah. If it's ruqya related, then obviously gather the families around and enforce it. Get call a raqi to come to the house and take it from there. If it's a violent person, then make sure there's male people there to help and support. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Second question.
The second question is, if you feel like, actually I'll ask the third question first. Is it possible to feel when there is sihr present? I don't know, like, there's a Bengali word for it, it's called like oshabhi. Is it possible to feel when, or is that just paranoia?
Feel when what?
When, when someone's being triggered, or like...
When the thing is, you can feel it when things are not making sense. Yeah, so you're angry for no reason. There's no reason, but you're angry. You're frustrated. You're moody, and there's no reason. There's no cause, or the causes are there, but it's so small, it's so minute. Yeah, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong either in yourself, so that you need to go and check it out, or it's a ruqya related issue. Both ways you need to go and check it out. Yeah, and you will not listen to the people who are close to you, like your husband. You will not listen to him if he says, you're mentally ill. You say you're mentally ill, you reply back to him, you're more crazy. Yeah, you're saying you're crazy, you're more crazy, go to mental hospital. Yeah, you'll tell him, you'll force him to go to hospital. So you'll not listen to people close to you, especially your husband, or the other way around, especially your wife, brothers. Yeah, so it has to come from someone who's close to you, that you trust and you love, and you'll not push them away, like a friend, like a companion, like your sister, like your brother, like your mother, like your father. It has to be someone like them, so they have to initiate it. And inshallah, obviously I didn't have time to speak about this. It's the people around the patient, they have to take a lot of initiative to cure the patient. So it has to be the friends, it has to be the colleagues, it has to be the family members. They have to, biological family members, they are close, blood related, they have to take the initiative to cure the patient. And eventually the sister or the brother, the patient, does listen. but it has to be a relentless, constant pressure, and also it has to be like holding hand thing. So it can't be, you know what, you make the appointment to the doctors or you make the appointment to the raqi. La, she or he will not do it. You have to call up the raqi. You have to take her or you have to take him. You know, you have to go take time out, take time off from work. You have to do all of that until they are stable enough to realize, you know what, I have a problem. It's my problem. I have to fight it. As soon as they make that decision, as I said, they win the war 70%, more than 70%. Your last question, sister.
When you feel you're getting to that heightened state where your emotions take over, what is the best way to subside it or resolve it completely at that moment?
At that moment, obviously, there's not much control you'll have, but the people around you, they have to realize. And what happens, shaitan comes and pushes, he pushes both ways, yeah, like chili, yeah. So it's pushing you to like say things that you don't really want to say to your husband, and it's pushing the husband to say things that he doesn't want to really say it to you, yeah. So it's pushing you like proper chili, you know, crackers, how the chili cracks, dry chilies, have you seen how they crack? It's like that feeling. And you stand there, even though you're saying to yourself, I should not stand there and say things back to my wife or to my husband, you're still standing there saying things like a machine, you know, and it's triggering me or her, and then eventually she grabs stuff, she starts throwing at you, and then you grab stuff and you start throwing at her, yeah, or you become physical, literally, yeah. So one of you at least has to get out from the room. Soon as one of you get out from the room, the crackling of the chili in your heart doesn't work, yeah. And I will say further, if it's not time, obviously go to another room and lock your door, so she doesn't come or he doesn't come and scream and try to bang the door, yeah. So go to another room where there's locks and lock it. So let her or let him come and bang on the door and say stuff. Whatever you do, just put your headphones on, put the Quran on, just relax, yeah. If it's daytime, get out of the house. That's the most efficient, effective way of resolving the anger issue when it triggers, is to get out. Just leave the room, yeah, or leave the house. Doesn't matter how severe the sihr is, as soon as you leave the house and go to the masjid, yeah, after an hour or so, that same person will message you saying, where are you? Yeah. We don't have bread in our house or something like that. We don't have no milk or something. Khalas, she's come back to normal again. She completely forgot what happened. You go back in, have a shower, get her to have a shower, and khalas, will be fine again. But if you don't leave, then obviously, if you start reciting, it's not going to work. If you start blowing, it's not going to work. If you get spray, start spraying on her, it's not going to work. Or him. Yeah, the bizarre is completely taken over. So the best thing I say is get out. If it's daytime, get out of the house. Yeah? Leave the Quran on, play the Quran a bit loudly, get out of the house. Allah. Don't think, if I leave, what's going to happen to her? She's going to, get the knife, do this, do that. She's going to, skin herself, whatever. Don't worry. Just get out of the house. If anything happens, leave it to Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? But have that tawakkul, get out. But if you stay, there will be violence, and then she will use that against you and you will use that against her. Because then it's emotion, isn't it? It's you at the end of the day. You're getting beats, you're beating, you're striking. You will forget that the shaitan was there. Eventually you'll be like, she hit me, or he hit me, or he said this, or she eventually come. And if you go through down, bad times, bitter times, these things will hurt you and will keep playing in your heart and your mind. So the best thing is to get out of the house and wait until she or he asks you to come back. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. That's Sister Bismillah.
What if the person that's afflicted is triggered so much that they want to harm everyone in the home? Do we not kick them out, or do we send them out, or do we lock them in the rooms, or what would we do?
Whatever's easy. Whatever's easier. If you can ask him to leave, then alhamdulillah, let him leave. If you can ask to stay in the room and, if you can do this as well, completely, then do that as well. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, you'll see it. Blow on everyone that you know, blow on all the places that you went to, intending to find the source of the sihr. You'll eventually see the person. Or just make dua to Jalla wa ala, Allah show me the person, and keep blowing on all the places that you visited, and eventually you'll see the person who did the sihr. Yes, sister, go ahead. Yes. Sorry, sister? There is this understanding that if you do ruqya, it affects the baby and stuff like this. There is this understanding, but you see, these are fear mongering, scaremongering. I don't see anything wrong on doing ruqya on a person who doesn't become physical. As long as she or he doesn't become physical, right, then you can do ruqya on her, on him, and you can continue the treatment also by yourself. Obviously continue the treatment irrespective whether you're expecting or not. Continue the treatment irrespective. But going to a raqi and the raqi doing ruqya, that part, or someone reciting over you, that part, as long as the person is not violent towards the raqi or towards anyone else, then they can do ruqya even if they're expecting. I know one is, obviously there's so many cases. There's one case, she was pregnant, I think 7 months pregnant, and it was emergency and I had to do ruqya on her. Firstly I had to do, because it was 2 or 3 a.m. and then the brother was like, he goes, I'm exhausted, I can't carry on, can you please do ruqya? So I was doing ruqya on the phone, and eventually the next day he asked me to go, so I went, and she was 7, 8 months, as I said, expecting, and I went there. The shayateen literally was trying to punch the baby, literally. But whilst I was reciting, we made dua to Jalla wa ala that the baby be protected. And subhanallah, the baby was protected. He could not touch the stomach. Every time he went there, his hands got stopped. So these things gives you more yaqeen, that there's angels protecting the baby, there's angels protecting you, gives you more yaqeen. Yeah. So I would say do ruqya as long as the patient isn't violent. Then yes, go to ruqya, do ruqya, no problem. But if he or she is violent, then no. I mean, sorry, if she is violent, then don't wait until she alhamdulillah gives birth. Yes.
What does a person do when they're continuously bleeding? This could be due to affliction, and basically they just don't know how to differentiate whether that is actual medicine or not.
Go back to, if you have a usual, go back to the usual days. Go back to that. If you have, if no, then again, originally try to figure out how many days you used to, then just fix those days. So beginning of the month, just fix them. That's the second way. And the third way is to go to go through the medical route and try to distinguish it through the medical route, the different blood, and then take it from there.
So there's so many cases where you hear sisters, brothers, where they're being sexually abused whilst they're sleeping by jinns. What do they do in that case? And this is after they've done their hard, they're worshiping Allah as the best as possible, but they're still being abused.
Yeah, apply itar all over the bed, all over the headboard, above the headboard, and in your areas of opening. So your ears, your nose, your fingers, your nails, your toes, your private areas, yeah, stomach, back. Apply lots of itar. Obviously recite and then apply. When you do that, inshallah ta'ala, the shayateen will not come. And if they do come, make the intention to fight them in the dream and to kill them. Make that firm intention. You'll be scared in the beginning. In the beginning you'll be scared to fight them. They'll come like lions, of animals, or figures, or stuff like that. You'll be scared, but eventually make that intention. inshallah ta'ala they will eventually become like small insects, and you'll be able to kill them.
I'm talking about cases where sisters or even brothers are dealing with being sexually abused physically.
Yeah, I know.
Physically, but they are able to see it, not in their dreams, they are actually able to see it.
Now once you put Fitrah on all over yourself, they will eventually, if they still come, they will eventually burn. So they will burn themselves out, literally, because they're Fitrah, they can't stand Fitrah, and when they touch Fitrah they burn. So the more you apply Fitrah around yourself, the more they will burn. Eventually they will burn. They will completely burn away.
Okay, and sorry, the last question is there was a case where there's a husband and wife, and the wife is being sexually abused by her husband while he's sleeping. So he doesn't know he's actually committing it, but when he wakes up, or while, during, he'll realize that it's actually him, and now he can't stop himself. So what would you advise that they do?
Sorry, I didn't understand that question.
Okay, right, so there's a husband and wife, okay, they go to sleep, and then the wife is being sexually abused by her husband's jinn, okay? So he doesn't know he's actually physically committing the crime. It's only whilst it's happening, during it he'll wake up.
Khalas, or same. Ask him to apply Fitrah, and also you apply, the wife applies Fitrah. Yeah? Fitrah is, when it comes to sexual abuse, the main thing the shayateen are scared of is Fitrah. Yeah? After you apply the oil, apply lots of Fitrah. They can't stand Fitrah. Fitrah burns them. So as soon as you apply Fitrah, eventually if it's Sihr, they will insist. If it's Ishq, they will insist. But the more they insist, the more they burn. Eventually they'll burn out.
And is there a specific type of
That any Fitrah that is strong enough.
Sorry?
Any Fitrah are strong. Okay. Any Fitrahs are strong, it's fine. Yes, sister. Thanks,
if you suspect that the person who may have done that pattern, they've given you gifts in the past, like bracelets or perfumes, and they've told you before that it's around the pillow and stuff, and now you're thinking maybe there was like a black magic on that, how would you destroy those items?
Check for knots. If there's no knots, untie them by reciting the quls, blow on them and untie them. If there's no knots and they are washable, place them in bathtub, recite in the water, and then place them in the bathtub, all clothes and all the items. For 3 days, that should suffice. But if you can't place in the bathtub, place in a bucket for 3 days, recite on it obviously. Leave it for 3 days, that should suffice. If it's burnable item, you can burn it. Like you can't wash it, then burn them. Like for example, metal stuff, locks and stuff like that. Burn as much as possible. Open as much as possible, like with screwdrivers and stuff like that. Open as much as possible. See what's in there. If there's nothing in there, wash them, burn them, and then eventually blow upon them while reciting, and that should be it. That should break the sihr. Yes, sister, any question? The other sister behind you, no question. Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit specific, but in regards to, say, you said before, Shaykh, about getting the whole family. Say that they come and they're kind of like slow walking the whole system, i.e. they come in just to go through the motion. They come, say to the Raqi, say nice words, say Alhamdulillah, we're doing this, that, go away, and through other sources, say you come to know that what they're saying isn't true, i.e. they're not doing the treatment, i.e. they're going away and they're actually saying that the ones who brought them are crazy, mental problems, and so forth.
I got your point there. At the end of the day, if the families don't do the treatment, right, then you do as much as you can. For you, it's about conveying the message that you are being affected, you're inflicted, we are all inflicted, and this is the treatment, this is how you do it. For you, it's about just conveying the message and insisting and trying your best to put pressure in every different angle, in every different way, to get them to cure themselves and cure yourself. But if they don't do it, they don't do it. You can't physically do anything, right? So make dua, and eventually consequences does eventually make them do it. Some, they never get cured, sadly, because they don't want to get cured. Yeah. But alhamdulillah, because of the awareness, and we're trying to create this awareness of Ruqya and It's not, because there's a stigma I didn't talk about, there's fear I didn't talk about. Inshallah we'll talk about these things later on in next series. So these are the things we need to get rid of in a society, and we need to make Ruqya available and accessible to anyone and everyone in a very easily confidential manner at the same time. So all of these things we need to do in a very comprehensive manner. So yes, it's tough, yes, it's difficult, it's challenging, but I think inshallah we're in the right course. We're on the right course inshallah ta'ala. So make du'as, give sadaqat. Sadaqat is key. Sadaqat is key. Helping other people who are in need and desperate situation elevates your disastrous difficulties or your very challenging difficulties. So help people. Help people. Yes.
If during Ruqya a person vomits, does that break their fast?
If during Ruqya, if person vomits, would that break their fast? I would say, because I know both sides, yeah, I would say no. Yeah, because it was not, the fast Rasulullah was saying was intentional. This is one not intentional. This was like a Ruqya, you can vomit, you may vomit, you can, and also it has to come from the stomach. The vomit has to be like lots of vomit and has to a handful of vomit. So I would say no, it will not break your fast inshallah. But if, would I recommend someone doing Ruqya, going to Raqi, going to a Raqi or someone to recite on them, would I recommend that during the month of Ramadan if you vomit, if you're a person that constantly vomits in Ruqya? I would say no. Just do your own treatment, and if you vomit inshallah ta'ala, your fast will not break. Yeah, unless you vomit first time due to the treatment you've done, and after you're calm and stuff like that, you vomit again. If you vomit twice, 3 times, maybe then the fast is broken. But initial vomit, inshallah ta'ala, your fast will not break because it's due to the treatment. Now.
You said you can prostrate to find the source, blow and find the source.
You make the intention.
Can someone do it on behalf of the afflicted person?
No. Only the one who can see the ghaib, which is related to you. It's not ghaib, it's a ghaib that's related to you, because they have opened that in you, the ghaib. So you can see it because they have opened it. So when you recite, you can see, just like Sallallahu saw the well. He didn't go there, he saw it from his bed while he was reciting Falaq Nas, just like that. Because he was inflicted with that, so he saw that. And then he physically, when he woke up, he went and he saw it. Yeah? So only you can see it and no one else. I get that question often. The people come to me and go, can you find out where the Sihr is? I go, oh, no, I can't find that, but you can. Yeah.
So apparently there is a special tree that's got oil in it, and apparently this oil is really strong. If the jinn sniff it, it can actually kill them. Is it permissible to use such things?
Well, I don't think it's that simple, that easy. If that was the case, the Quran could have done it. Yeah, it's a trial, it's a tribulation. So it's not so simple, it's not so easy. So I don't think it's true. Number one, I don't think it's true. Secondly, you are allowed to kill the jinns even if they are Muslim, but you give them 3 times you seek the permission to leave. You ask them to leave. If they don't leave, then you can. So you can kill, but after why I say it's 3 sessions. I don't say 3 times in one session, but that's quick. And you're asking someone who is very arrogant. Just the other day when I did Ruqya, this jinn was acting like many jinns. It was one jinn. It was acting like many jinns, right? And like a young kid, like an old man, like a young man. It was acting like many very different jinns. And then I clocked on that it was a Muslim jinn. So then I eventually said, you're a Muslim jinn, if you've got a good heart, become Muslim and leave. It was with there for years and years, and it was over 100 years. But it's acting different jinns. Obviously, you can get easily deceived. But it was a Muslim jinn. Quran was not affecting it because it was a Muslim jinn. So eventually, subhanallah, after I said that, he thought about it and he became Muslim and he left. He said the Shahada nicely and he left. Yeah? So that was after I think I had 3-4 sessions with her. Then he left. So alhamdulillah, these things can happen. So I always In my 20 years of my life, I only killed 3 jinns. 20 years of Ruqya, I only killed 3 jinns. I've made, alhamdulillah, like hundreds of thousands of jinns Muslims. Out of hundreds of thousands, I only killed 3. I can remember them, how I killed them as well. So they say I'm very merciful Raqi. Like I'll leave it right at the end to kill them. They say that, they even say it. But I would say is give them time, because they're arrogant, they're stubborn. And as long as you can cure the patient, alhamdulillah, focus on the curing of the patient, not killing of the jinns. But yes, the ruthlessness, the mercilessness of the Raqi has to be shown eventually. That you know what, I can kill you with the permission of Allah, with the Quran, if I wanted to. خلاص جزاكم الله خير سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. If you have any other further questions, you can email Fitrah Center and we'll get back to you inshallah as when we can. حياكم الله.